Tonight, Whyala's high school leaders put their heads together to figure out a better transition between each campus. And a humble local producer of carob tasting success on the world stage.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Teachers from Whyala's 3 public high schools have held a workshop focusing on the transition between the schools. Organisers say feedback from students indicated a need for stronger interaction between the schools to make moving campuses easier.
Whyala's archaic public high school system features 2 8 to 10 schools that feed into a senior high school. Ayr High works off the SACE curriculum, while Stuart and Whyala High use the Australian curriculum. It's a difficult transition not only for students but also for teachers, who, depending on their school, have no experience with the other.
It is a bit complicated for us because obviously they've got the transition point there.
It prompted teachers from the 3 campuses to go back to school. They shared knowledge and ideas of their respective systems in an attempt to help improve student learning.
Learn about cross-site curriculum and the Australian curriculum and SACE frameworks. The more quality teaching we'll be able to provide.
The sessions were organised after students said many struggled with the transition. It's hoped by giving teachers knowledge of both systems, they can pass that down to students ahead of their move.
Get SACE programs up and running in the 2 feeder schools of what the SACE curriculum is like before they come to Edward John Eyre High School.
The new 8 to 12 Whyala High School will eliminate that issue, but it won't be ready until the mid-2020s. It means a generation of students will still have this transition.
Ensuring that all students now and here are getting the best education possible.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
There was a minor traffic disruption in Port Lincoln this morning. Just before 8:30, crews were called to a car accident on Sleaford Terrace, where the driver of a white sedan had collided with a parked truck. The elderly female driver was checked by paramedics but managed to escape without injury. The road was blocked off while MFS crews cleared the scene before the car was towed away. Meantime, police have put a stop to nearly 50 street deals of cannabis in Peterborough. Local police raided a home yesterday where they allegedly uncovered about 160 grams of cannabis, divided into 48 small plastic bags. A 22-year-old man was reported for trafficking a controlled drug and will face court at a later date. Port Lincoln's Prawn Wharf has been a hive of activity recently, with the final trawlers coming in to wrap up a bumper season. The conclusion also sees the fishery celebrate 50 years of sustainable fishing in Spencer Gulf waters.
It was a special homecoming for the final batch of this season's prawns.
It's 50 years since the Cape Barron went out there with a couple of flags and started searching around the Gulf for some prawns, and here we are 50 years later. We've one of the best seasons on record.
It seems like a long time, and it is, but we're in our 3rd generation of skippers now and crews. We've been through good times and bad times, but now the fishery's actually really flourishing, really good.
The final voyage coming with some challenges for the 39 boats in the fleet.
The conditions were cold at this time of the year. They had a couple of nights off because of the bad weather, so these guys stop fishing when it gets over 25 knots. But on the whole, there's good conditions for them. They've had a very good season.
The result of that good season, the 3rd year of above average production.
I think we caught close to 2,100 tonnes, so that's a couple of 100 tonnes above average, so everyone's pretty buoyant and pretty excited by it.
With the fleet now packing up their boats, they'll look forward to heading out again in November in time for the bumper Christmas harvest.
We tread lightly in November and December because the prawns are breeding. But there's an opportunity there to get prawns to the market and so people can celebrate Christmas.
Stock's looking really good. The juvenile or the recruit count is up, probably 50% higher than it normally is, so things looking forward to the future.
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
The Australian carob company based in the mid-north is tasting international success. The business is now exporting to 7 different countries across the globe and has been recognised as producing the best quality carob in the world.
And from seed to the final product, everything is done on the family-owned farm.
Harvesting, processing and packing all on farm. That way we can guarantee it's totally non-contaminated.
The company's also been labelled with having some of the best quality carob in the world.
Customers say throughout the world, manufacturers throughout the world just can't believe the difference of our carob and they all say it's the best carob they've ever tried anywhere in the world.
They're expecting to harvest around 400 tonnes of the product next season.
So a carob tree can produce up to 200 kilos a tree, so that's a lot of kilos, and with 6,000 trees, yeah, they'll really be able to perform more, produce more as we grow our markets.
With an 18-year advantage on other carob companies, the future looks bright for the local business.
Sport markets growing the way they are, we'll just keep on producing more and more off our orchard by feeding the trees more.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
An Adelaide restoration company is repairing the war memorial at one of the Broken Hill footy ovals. The Memorial Oval monument honours the memory of the diggers of the First World War. Crews will be applying a special cement-like paint to protect the structure from the elements. The works are expected to take 2 months. Coming up, Whyalla failed to make the list of potential locations for a pilot training academy. That's next. Whyalla and the Lower EP have missed out on the shortlist for the Qantas Pilot Training Academy. 9 cities in 4 states have been selected, but no South Australian bids were carried through to the next round.
Whyalla, Port Lincoln and the Lower EP councils earlier this year launched bids to lure Qantas to their cities. The national airline was looking to set up a pilot academy, which would train 500 pilots over 5 years. Our dreams of hosting the site have been grounded, with neither bid making the shortlist.
Very disappointed to hear the news, because we did put in a genuine bid for this. But we were very hopeful that we might be, and a lot of hard work has gone into it.
Qantas selected 9 cities from New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria and Tasmania, and WA and the NT. Over 60 cities placed a bid, with the Flying Kangaroo to visit the 9 finalists to further assess their capabilities. Despite the disappointment, Mayor Brewer says the region is hopefully on the map.
We're certainly working and looking at our airport, what opportunities we can gather there. We've made it known that we're open for business.
Council will shift focus to other opportunities. The Mayor says GFG's expansion, SSC solar plant, plus Becker helicopters setting up at the airport are signs we've got a bright future.
We're moving ahead. We're getting a whole range of opportunities that were beyond our dreams 2 years ago. So we just need to stay in there and keep trying.
Qantas thanked all applicants and says if demand is strong, there may be room for a second academy. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Barunga Village is offering a unique traineeship program where locals will be able to obtain qualifications in support work. The program follows the village's multi-million-dollar rebuild aimed at improving quality of life while also offering more job opportunities.
Inspiring locals to enter the aged care industry. The renowned Barunga Village is now giving locals the opportunity to gain a Certificate 3 in individual support.
As a major employer of the region, we'll be offering 7 full-time traineeships, but there are lots of other jobs throughout the business that we will be requiring with our new expansion.
There's a great opportunity for mentorship when you are a traineeship, so your skills are learned working alongside your peers, and then you're applying theory as you learn it to the practice.
Kate Manser is just one success story. She took the opportunity to re-enter the workforce as a trainee after starting a family. After completing her certificate, she continued working at Barunga Village and was lucky enough to be offered a full-time position.
I applied for the traineeship and I was accepted for the position. And then I commenced that 15-month program and studied the certificate in aged care services.
Barunga Village prides itself on supporting the local community.
It's great to have young people living here, working here and supporting our local economy.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
The construction of a new skate park has commenced in Corn as the Flinders Ranges Council looks at ways to attract younger generations to the town. Trinity Skate Parks has begun ripping up the old tennis courts on Railway Terrace with the hope to snag passing tourists to stop in Corn.
Prime opportunity for people travelling with kids to see it, to stop, kids can have a ride on the skate park.
The project is expected to be completed in a few months' time. 50 years since one of the toughest battles in the Vietnam War, a North Shields resident has finally been recognised by the Australian government. Ray Daldal joined almost 200 other men who were recognised for their efforts in the Battle of Coral Balmoral.
Finally receiving the recognition he deserves.
Pin is actually a citation which the battalion will continue using, but they'll wear that forever.
The citation recognises extraordinary gallantry action.
Ray went in February of 68 and back again in October of 68. We married just before he left at the Christmas time, so it was all pretty traumatic, but fortunately he was one of the ones that came home, so we've been very blessed.
Ray joined 196 other men from the battle who were recognised for the first time by the Australian government at a ceremony in Townsville.
It's well overdue, and for Ray and all of the men, I think because they were never really recognised when they came back, it has been quite a significant recognition for them that they feel quite proud of it.
However, the time of war in Ray's life isn't something he's particularly open about.
Ray hasn't ever spoken about it, not anything, a couple of fun things that have happened while he was away, but really that's all. So when Ray came back, it was just as per normal. He was just Ray and got on with work.
Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, an AFL legend ready to pull on the boots for a Broken Hill club. Details next. Welcome back. Young female footy players from across the region will converge on Port Augusta's Central Oval for the first North Adelaide Female Football Carnival. The day-long competition will feature teams from right across the Gulf in a bid to grow the female game.
She's grown up watching footy her whole life, and this Sunday Michaela Richards will have the chance to pull on a footy jumper herself.
Most of the boys play, but yeah, I just wanted to be a girl and get into it.
She'll join a number of girls kicking the Sharon around for the first year of the competition.
There's definitely demand out there for it, and being the coordinator for Port Augusta teams, we've got 50 plus names.
And after only one training session, the girls had a natural affinity with the game.
We went for a best part of 2 hours. It was pretty cold out there, but they were keen and they had a very, very good time.
Sunday's nine-a-side competition is being organised by the North Adelaide Football Club and will include teams in both the under-15s and under-17s divisions. The success of the AFL Women's League, a big driver to develop female footy stars across the state.
Just really to give girls an opportunity to play football, that's sort of the first point really, yeah, and then if any talent jumps out at us, we'll then give them an opportunity to come to Adelaide.
Female competitions are already up and running in the Mid-North. And with many first-timers set to take the field this Sunday, officials are hoping the day will spark female footy fever in the local region. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
AFL legend Jason Ackermanis says he's excited to be playing in Broken Hill tomorrow. The 2001 Brownlow medalist will line up for the West Robins in a must-win match against North.
Enjoying a round of golf at the local course before donning the boots once more. Ackermanis arrived in the Silver City yesterday and spent no time getting ready for Saturday's fixture. He took the West Seniors last night, even getting an official club photo taken.
We trained well considering, you can't really see the ball that well, and it was moving pretty good. So the boys are up and about.
West hasn't beaten North in over 2 years and currently sit on the bottom of the A-grade ladder. A win on the weekend would see them tied for third in the 4-team comp and back in the hunt for a prelim final.
But I really do feel with him in their ranks, a 320-game AFL player, Brownlow medalist, he's played in 3 premierships, still very, very fit, loves his footy. I think he can get the Robins up tomorrow against North.
The local league is hoping for a big turnout similar to last year when Anthony Koutafidis pulled on the boots.
But he brings excitement and colour to a competition that really needs some life at the moment. And I think given good weather tomorrow, it's a standalone round, so South and Central aren't playing. We got 1,500 plus last year. We want a similar crowd tomorrow.
And as for Acker's final thoughts...
If you can generate enough shots, so you generally know if we can kick straight as well, put the pressure on and bring a bit of good defensive pressure, then I've no doubt that we'll be in the game for most of the day.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
All things footy, time now for footy tips.
Hello and welcome to round 9 of SGL football. This round starts with Soli's taking on Lions at Port Oval on Saturday. I'm tipping Soli's in a close one. In Port Augusta on Saturday, it's West up against Central. I'm tipping Central. Then on Sunday, it's South who travel to Pirrie to meet Port. I'm tipping South.
Match of the round at Bennett Oval on Saturday. It's South Whyalla versus North Whyalla, second versus third. South will be more than likely playing finals this year. They're doing very well. They take on a North team that's been a bit inconsistent lately, but I think the Magpies will start to ramp things up in the second half of the season and have a win. Other game on Saturday at Memorial Oval, it's Rapina versus Central Whyalla. Roos really need to get their skates on if they want to play finals football. They should beat the bottom team in Centrals. They won't have it all their own way, but Roos to win. And finally on Sunday at Bennett Oval, it's West Whyalla versus Marina Bay. Bays again, big chance to play finals. They will again like their chances against a good West team, but they take on a team that's only lost one game this season, so the Dragons have to be favourites.
Welcome to Port Lincoln Footy Tips. We kick things off with match of the round out at Wongaree, where Marble Range are hosting Tasmans. These are the two in-form teams of 2018, and less than a goal separated them last time they met. We all know Tasmans have a powerhouse forward, however Marble Range are on a 6-game winning streak and are going to be too strong at home. I'm tipping Marble Range to win this one by 3 goals. In the next game, we've got Manly Park hosting Boston's. Manly Park are coasting along quite well this year, and Boston's are struggling to get a win. I'm tipping Manly Park to win this one at home by more than 10 goals. In the last game, we've got Waybacks hosting Lincoln South at Centenary Oval. Waybacks won by over 150 points last week, where Lincoln South struggled to kick a goal. I'm tipping Waybacks to win this one by 8 goals.
This week in Broken Hill football is a split round at the Jube. It sees Jason Ackermanis come to town to play for West in what will be a great contest with two great sides. North, after coming off a loss from South last week over the hill, will be looking to redeem themselves. West have some great players, but I believe West will be the winners in this game by 7 to 10 points.
Stay with us. After the break, Amy will be along with all the weekend weather details, and it's looking like the region will get a good dose of winter temperatures next week, Amy.
That's right, Fraser. It is set to cool down right across the Spencer Gulf. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Another pleasant day around all centres as we start our weekend. A sunny 17 degrees in Whyalla and Port Augusta, and while Port Lincoln was only just cooler, it still experienced mostly sunny conditions. Time to check the satellite now, and some patchy cloud across the south will bring the odd shower. Skies are mostly clear over the rest of the state under that ridge of high pressure, which is leading to chilly mornings for inland areas. If you're lucky enough to spend your weekend out on the waters, southeasterly winds will pick up to 20 knots with seas reaching 1 metre. Sunrise is at 7:24 this weekend, while it will set at 5:18. A mostly fine start to the weekend forecast, with maximum sitting in the mid to high teens after cool overnight temperatures. Highs of 17 in Port Augusta, Whyalla and Corn, while other districts will sit a degree or two cooler. Showers will clear by Tuesday in Port Lincoln with a fine 15 predicted. Clearer conditions in Cleve also early next week, while Woodna will be starting the week with sunny days and tops of 16. Some cloud around in Whyalla, however it is set to clear by Tuesday with maximum sitting at 15. A lovely weekend and start to next week predicted for Port Augusta, but you may need a jumper in Kadina, 14 the expected top on Tuesday. Temperatures are going to sit in the mid-teens for the next few days in Port Pirie, while Clare is only going to see highs of 11 early next week. And in Broken Hill, despite the sunshine, maximums won't go above 12 degrees. So Fraser, while it'll be a lovely start to the new working week, make sure you've got the Ugg boots out with those chilly overnight temperatures hanging around.
Thanks, Amy, and that's the local news this Friday. Thanks for your company. Enjoy the footy. Good night.